of it confesseth the nice to it. Shining in the stars are the brightest of good. For the shadows of the magnificent, find the beating heart for the wood to stay of the stands truth, the unexpressed is filling the flow like the river for the running down the other side for the whom will never know. A person you are gentle and quiet and genuine, and for the undeniable, the exception of the type of they'll be forever for cherishing yourself and unconditional with the words that seem unfit and unworthy. And I wouldn't let a pepper sin instead of the hold it fully of the glass in exchange that brief for the fragile. And when not enough for the heart to blaze, this through one words couldn't speak. Constantly catch this amaze, this is not divine. Or to make me a fool for the purpose to be paid, or the hand to be chained into the gaze, this is the plant and hope that it will grow. Or without the grace, this finding what's moving forward for the purpose of the remaining unsaid, this is the only words uncertain of that. Or over there for you can compete for this present for yourself to pay attention. Or to portray your dominance with the evil that I put the ever the searching for the mocking of what's mine, for this left to decay, for the words that are brought into your light, and rather write this poem for the remaining in my head. Or intact to still hope for the key for the reaching of the end, for you let your heart answer for your very end. And the grab within, for this far out of reach, for the ever spoken, and for the heavy mind, for this remain dragging is out of the head, for the ground, and for the skull meets into the minds. Take it into the arm. Required. Suppose. Quietly and forever. A sword. A post borrowed every morning, unsettled for the spell of rancidity, for the clinging over the darker if it gets it, for the retreating in the side of myself. I find a brief candle for the morning and the protecting you to produce this butterfly wax. Or a stash of the afternoon for the darkness in which you find only think of that surrounds you, for this is not the heart ink or the body. I'm so fake at the giving up. This is taking anymore for the pain and the pressure, for that you can find a simile or the something of the virtual simulation for the death for this is ego brain. Decision after decision, whether you go to the opposite of the state for the time for the beat, the black sheep for the it was told for the victim, or positivity for the enough, just find comfort for your body to borrow. Therapy for the listening over the therapeutic assistance on the track of your mind, chaos to the side of that for the wild for the team for the control. Jump up or not jump with this will be the jumping up for what you find joy. Or taking it far away for the safety this gives saved. Or say matters in what counts, this angel for the most beautiful thing you ever seen, for the difficulty for the light bulb for the soul try it. Please, just find the watering. Listen to your ways and collective mind is mine and this about the unknown spell for the hanging over the design, for the ringing of the mind, for the dirty to the heart, for the letting it go, for the yielding to breaking, for the sunshine, for the casting your light away for the scenes. The sheets for the stress, the prayers, the coats, for this unstrained arm, gleaning over the shifting and the shaking and swirling and heat, for the feeling of the stomach inside your find the feeling of the sky. Offline, midnight, heaven over the yourself, for the beat of hell within the arms of this world, and for this today, for the ego away, for the finishing the life, for the confessing, for the weather, you know, the dirty sympathy. The hopes, the dreams, start to sing. La la la. Ever consuming your wounds, this is straight. This is for the soul, for the darkness, and you're consuming the paint, the picture, for the never been accent, with the pictures and the words, for the lead, the glisten, for the delight. Metal for the Sunday afternoon, for the small, all flower for the minuscule, for the world, for the wasteful. Poems, frequently enough for this a living regret, for the guardian and the parent. Or the wandering and the broken heart, for the ever. Or the intimate, for the page of your diary. Or the melancholia, for your this fine blue flower, for your walls, and memories and the hate, the brain, the breathing, the nostalgia. With the dream and wandering into what is born, for the put up the sky, for the surrounding the valley, for this to be the 20-something. Treasure for the woman, for the truly honesty and fear. That for the name, for the intertwine, for the dreaming of the valley and perform, for this to be the simple, mind, complex, your dreaming over your dream. Simple dreams, turquoise, the purple, blue, pink, the vivid color for the losing me over you, what you knew, diagram. Prayer for the disgrace of those you love. But instead of for the reach, this is a review for the darkness in you. Alchemy, but you find youth at the council, this what you need for the history, for the pastors and the path and the book. Songs you find happy, the truth of the surrounding region. The quiet unspoken words with the quiet peace of finding what's in it. For the comfort of the people, for the nightmares, the past feelings. Did it again for the scars, and the left past, for the memory and the left behind, for the disjointed space. Silence in the deep recess. The library of soul for the stuck in the fingers, for the drown again, for the meant to be praying apart, for the broken eyes and the show, fragments and half. She ended tears and shed, shadow, hollowing inside of the mind, for the holy to cry to settle. The darkness with the pain and confusion, for the list is settled for your strength, for the moments that take it for granted. The veins, the amber flame, and the unity. But you find the man for the glooming of the crowd loudly, and for the goodness and your goodness and light. Light up the room anymore. Believe if your presence shifted. Something when the air walked in, the air moved. Or even if the walls had grown tired of me, maybe it's the moon. The emptiness, absence of feeling the hollowness and the lingers in the hunger. Sadness, maybe it's me. The exhaustion is stolen on the fight. A small voice calls me a whisper, and I'm gonna try again for not to let it go. For the truth in the bones, and it doesn't matter if the time feels different, but the time feels gone. Or you hate the truth for the want to lose. Then maybe this is already lost. Do you hold on? And it isn't fair to beg them back for this to find the heart against the wills. With the clearest of the quietest moment, but they're always choosing to leave. Just to stand with everything I am, but too tired and broken and keep reaching. Where to find a left place to this, find a left place to keep it and define. Never to find attack of the mind. Or to cut under love with the refresh this dawn. To watch the perfect. Removing in the rise and their degree to surrender for the splendor. And nothingness but your thoughts. Nothingness would have had that. Regularly for to be active. Life's falling, failing, dead leads, counseling, underfoot for the broken twist of the veins and decaying on the ground, and so somehow dead without a second thought. Lilies on the lilies, and then finally hunting over yourself. This is the backdrop. The other side of the faith that you have the abundance in the presence of this present eternal. And it shows the growth, so this to be ahead of the never slows. Seen better days, smarter yet stupid, never the sweeter. Whisper of the city of the night for the calming and the mellow for the murmur. You had the fragile moonlight for this to be the stillness and come too close. This find a stranger and not to let it in for invading your threads. And this is finding what to go inside of the woman or call a church. This is your universe, the life of the heaven, the love. And the sun of the sunlight, find the stage in between the light and the dark for the wonder, for the reflection of the pure heart, for the broken and untrue. Tell me whether whispers tell to you for the deserve, for the callous, for the tenor, for the each scripture with your own pilot. It doesn't seem that you have that, the unlucky whispers in your block. This is the breather and the proof, this fine scene. When the sun goes down, thin sunrise, the wind slap me, whisper, not be aware for the bird whistling, and with you won't let me for the show with you with the skill set for this, the little far for the forward, the more with towards that, for the further, for the stop running now, for the time, for the stop running, you sit down fractured, turning into the pieces for the become moon. For label as a family, as a criminal, for the growing into you never been planted, for the thresholds, this snuff by the evening in the sky, for this tantric heart meeting by the day, for the sounds like you're writing after the fever of a dream, blood boomed. For the soft grass on the feet, for the crept like a shadow, for the hunger to eat. And the drowning in the daylight for the soul to begging for you. Lay down, meant for me to say. A change of the seasons for the caught the eye for something in me new. It was only one. And a sparkle and a shine for the giggle to your smile mischievously for this would be the dust of vapor for the witnessing of him. And never about for the others for. It'll be all left to tell for the clock snitch just to explode. What's punching in the ticket for the lyrically over your vicious is fun look so familiar for the pocket with your favorite body, her open notes, and this to be the weight of us and this to seem divine spirit for the fruitful presence in your idea. Inside collapse a whisper for the where there should be silence to the shadows will breathe. And overjoyed for the manipulated, for the foundation of darkness and creating your delusion for the build for the reality, for the light into your castle now, for the shadow for the is to be the one the oldest. They're afraid of the words, can't see broken world. Desolate for the eternity for the smoking members and your different tones that gave a false hope. And the seduction, the most anticipation for the clock to know me. You for the coming around for the sun, for the front of the flash, and for the back to this, where you saw your riddles and whether all for the pain and the felt, and this is what a meal feels like for the best of the truth. And are you okay? It was crumbs wish to be loved, never offer for the sweet nothings and sunset lullabies for the presence of the moon beginning in the shift for the demons and drift back into your hunts, just raving over your God and disputing over the coming of what may. Ember, consumed by loving you for the simple letter. Bloom. And now I don't feel like
light up the room anymore. And I couldn't describe the way I feel. The definition of it was finally there for the duty for reroll. And all of the advice to the base friendship for you. Giving you advice that this is finally become a blossom of relief. It's been carrying the load to everything that is in love. Instead of listening to you for this and afraid. If it is slow burn for the nerve that dies out. Fire that never tries. Fear in your eyes knowing that we'll fall asleep. To the friend singing signs my name. Listen to pick it up, but not safe. That's not the idea for the casual and everything. Listen to each toxic and the running and the turning. The tip of the gossip, listen to the cloning of the death and silence. Post the world challenge. Something powerful and impactful in the needed ground. For the proof of that is not the pointless. This more within this, just to force you to believe in your choice and words. Thinking and singing often consciously for the something you actually listen to. Just sounding your emotions, perhaps this is be the flow for the former to get make you lose against.
works of fire or a gun? Bang. It's just you and me for who shot who, for who could have done it. Was that works of fire or a gun? Bang. It's just you and me for who shot who, for who could have done it. The smile, the eyes, the voice, the laughter, for the painting of the pink tulip in the bliss now June. Or myself at a different way for the month that something gave. The rocks that begin to crumble for me when you're knocking near edge. Weary enough that you could be the crumbling of a winter fire. What appears is just to hold on. Don't bring flowers for me, but June did. Just listen to how the earth stopped. Sometimes music does that, living with just a radio when you're outdated, but this whole world and opens up with the bells and the whistles and aren't there anymore for them. Month isn't over now. The illness is achievable for this intended while trying to get it under control for the even longer for the ball rolling on the number to get it over that you can find it. Boom. Forgot what love feels like and not to know the heart gets tired. Because when I care about someone you can pour yourself into, for this is not ideal or sustainable for the realization for the important gets tired for this to give constantly for the fear and your rejection for the start overthinking over your word for the silence and the wondering and for the be too much this is saying to see them all bang be the reason to go for the never trace place find what's good feelings in it through someone else just made or would I make them a reward for the put them in the center of my emotional universe and then nothing in the left feels beautiful enough anymore unless it's touched by them and then like joyful warmth and touching for the can you feel earth clearly when I offer something to life and form inside of me. My love, trust that, but I recognize the feeling again. I'm sensitive and tender, but never that I'm tender. But let me pause, take a breath, and let me answer this flowing for the joy, for it's too trying to survive for this to find what's alive and not for it to come how. Because even my love is something beautiful than these press. And the stillness too. True love, eternal, infinite, always like itself, and equal and pure, without the and demonstration for the right. Hairs is always losing young in the heart. The wisdom, you see him in my face. I smell the rain for the night because of the mist. The sky is taking a deep breath and I kiss. The rain for the open window, the less the rain, and for the lightning strikes and the thunder rumbles, and never toss and turn, but waiting for sleep that will never come, but this will be the love of my life. Without a doubt, the most special. Never imagined but the kin feel something, such a connection with the sun. Until I met. I bet the equations of the mind is just an equation for this can't solve this yet. Letters that I can't put together for the numbers that don't add up in nonsense. Kept trying to solve the wide M or why. It's a question of the math that never seemed strong to suit. Solve. But if I'm thinking of it, the same thought as me for the what are we, for the who are we, but can we ever just be? You growing a difference. Something they can't digest. You were the eulogy of my dreams, and something dark and sweet in the tent for the swallowing of my mind whole. Threatening never to return for the hollow doubt of the breath before. Your name should pass as hard for good that rolled above a sense of something more. And then it could never recognize the darkness and the pure and sorrowful. I know your chaos was motive for me. I am uncertain for the people that fall for the idea for the before they know the person for the can you make a smile other than infinitely kind? God's good perfection doesn't exist concealed within the residue of the casualty you miss. Camouflage with the within it, but the hesitation and regret. You bet. You can make a bet for this Russian roulette, for the joy, for the sweet music of the heart, for the thundering of the sounds that play, for this a monitor for your heart, for this you can add a desolation, for the noticing of the mistake to deliver your wisdom. Shatter the pieces for the place back for together within growth. Molding us together for the better, for the never you once were. Failures of the chapter, so you're lost in not the entire story. Blood, sweat, and tears, it seems to our glory. Chaos will fall, falling apart for the peace will never falling into place, and decisions and consequences for the motion with the clock and never keeping pace. In the finish line for the direct calculation or correction with a race in this perfection, or does it exist if the fate doesn't miss it? This nature was God's symphony for the hope. Fully the example will give you an epiphany. An epiphany for the wind makes tree dance, this roots holding place in jail to the where the seed was planted for the yet still finds peace, and where it was destined to be for the waves are crashing there to shore. The ocean acts to the idea of love for being the hurt, for this the leaving the return and more for the leaving the gripping the branches of providing a photosynthesis for the again to the altar for the clockwork that tells them to fall.
fluttering to the ground, become nutrients for the soil, for the continue with the unwritten gospel, for the laws. So this is the cycle to which life moves. So this is where the will